Hi, it's Darnell, Wave Oven Recipes, and today I'm going to be making up some whole wheat breadsticks. I'm going to be using the Zojirushi Virtuoso Plus Breadmaker to make the dough, and then to bake them up I'm going to be using the Gourmia XL French Door digital air fry oven, since there'll be a lot. And so we'll see how all that turns out. Let's get cooking right now. Alright, so I've got the Zojirushi here, got the bake pan in there with the paddles or agitators, whatever you want to call them, both pointing in the same direction. You need to do that, especially when you do like loaves of bread for an even loaf, but do it all the time no matter what you're doing. I'm using a recipe that is inspired by Zojirushi's recipe book, but I put my own spin on it to be able to do it in a whole wheat form. So these ingredients, you need to put them in the order that I'm adding them. First ingredient is going to be 1 1/4 cup of milk. I'm using powdered milk, so basically with that you want to use 1 1/4 cup of water plus 5 tablespoons of powdered milk and mix it together. So that goes in first. And don't worry about the paddle kind of getting moved a little bit. The main agitator that moves the paddle is still in the same position, so once things start spinning it'll all be aligned anyway. Alright, so with the milk in, and that needs to be whole milk by the way. Next ingredient is 1 large egg. I basically mixed it up in the same cup as the milk. So you want 1 large egg that's beaten there, so that's in. Next ingredient is 3 cups of finely ground whole wheat flour, so pouring that on in. The next ingredient is 1/2 cup of vital wheat gluten, and vital wheat gluten helps whole wheat flour to rise up better. So I'm putting that in on the edges of the inside of the bake pan there, not in the middle. The middle is reserved for making a little well for the yeast. Now the next ingredient is going to be 4 tablespoons of a granulated sweetener, but I'm using organic monk fruit extract powder, which you use far less to get the same amount of sweetness. So I'm adding just 1 1/2 teaspoons of organic monk fruit extract powder, and I'm putting that on the edges here as you see. Next ingredient is 2 teaspoons of sea salt, putting that on the sides there just like I did with the sweetener a moment ago. So that's in. Next ingredient is 2 tablespoons of butter. I basically cut it into very small pieces so that it would basically soften up while it was sitting outside of the fridge and I was getting the other ingredients in there. So put that in on the sides like that. Alright, next I take a clean knife and I'm basically making a little well for my yeast. You can use rapid rise yeast or bread machine yeast, whichever works better for you or you have on hand or you prefer, whatever. But putting 2 of those in there in that little well. So got all the ingredients in now. So basically going to close things up, and not sure how well you can see things, but going to hit the course button to get to 11, going down to 11 there, which is the dough setting, and so it tells me what time my dough will be done basically making my dough. So I hit start. It takes about 2 hours. So we'll let it do its thing. I'm going to move it back because once it starts moving, don't want it falling off the counter. But I'll bring you back once we have some dough to work with. Alright, so the dough is ready. So I got the pan out of the bread maker. So just going to take the dough here and set it out on this prep area. I'm going to use my dough cutter to cut it into 4 pieces, so I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not making any special effort to ensure everything is perfectly even in these 4 pieces. So one might be a little larger than the other. I'll cut that one and give him some. So close enough. I just like to eyeball it. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take these 4 pieces and basically roll them out. Try and make them rectangular, maybe. We'll see what happens. But I do know that I could flour the rolling pin to make it a little less sticky, but I'm just going to do it like this anyway. Alright, so the kid who never got an A in art class, as far as I know, if I did get one, teacher was being generous, but I've got these basically laid out. The counter is clean anyway, so I've got them kind of outside the prep area a little bit because they all probably wouldn't fit together on the prep area. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cover them with paper towels and let them rest for 20 minutes. Okay, so it's been about 20 minutes. Going to remove the paper towel from the dough here, just been resting. So now at this point, what is done is to basically cut and roll the dough into pieces. There is no proofing done with this breadstick recipe. Just go straight from that rest straight to cutting your pieces here. So I'm just going to cut that. You take it and you basically roll it up. Just roll it out. So I'm just rolling it and trying to make a stick. There we go. It's coming around. It's coming together. Alright. So basically stretching it out a little bit to make it a little bigger. That's pretty good. Alright, that's good. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put it, I've got the bake pan lined with parchment paper up here, so I'm just setting this one out on the parchment paper. I'm just going to repeat that till I've done the same for all the dough. Alright, so got them all set out. Got a lot here. I think there's about 24 there, so 26, 28, 30, 32, about 34 roughly, I think. So there's a lot. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to move the camera back so you get a better view of things. Alright, because I need you to also be able to see the cooker, which I'm turning on. And I'm hitting the bake. I'm going up to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm going to give it, well, I'm going to leave it at 30. Here's why. Sorry for the loud beeping, but the reason why, hit start, it's preheat. Whoops, I actually turned it off, sorry. Let me get back to that setting again. So hitting start now to get the preheat going. But the reason why I'm doing 30 is because I'm going to have to do 2 layers because I had to put some on the air fry rack with parchment paper, some on the bake pan because there were so many. And I'm going to probably have to do like one level and get that out, and then the other level will be able to cook. But the bottom level is not going to cook as well while a level's on top. But while things are preheating, getting things spritzed with some water. And then what I do after I spritz the dough with water, you can use whatever type of topping or seasonings you want. I'm going to do a variety of seasonings. So these here, I'm going to use cinnamon. Put this on these breadsticks. So I have some cinnamon breadsticks here. I'll leave those there plain, like a few over there plain. Down here, I'm going to do some with some Old Bay over here. So, if you're familiar with this channel, you know I put Old Bay on everything. Over 800 videos here on the channel, tens of different cooker reviews. Be sure to check them out. Review of the bread maker, the cooker here, plenty else. And for this other half of this rack, I'm using a organic no salt seasoning. This is a Costco organic no salt seasoning. So got a little Old Bay, got a little no salt seasoning, got some cinnamon, got some plain. So once things finish preheating, get it all inside. Alright, putting things inside. Putting these up on a higher rack level. Putting these down on a lower one. And it'll go ahead and start counting down. I'll bring you back when it looks like maybe that top rack is done. Alright, I've let things go for 14 minutes, hitting cancel to pause. And I'm going to get them out. I wanted my breadsticks to get a little browning on them. So this is the upper rack. They feel firm. So the lower ones, I'm going to raise them up. You see they're not fully cooked because they were on the bottom part. But we'll go ahead and hit start. Let those continue. Alright, so I basically gave the second set an additional 5 minutes. I'm going to hit the stop to end things at that point and just turn it off. And let's see if I can get these out. They look pretty decent. Slide these over here. Slide these others over here so you can see both sets. And I'll move the camera a little bit so you can see better. Alright, so giving you a closer up view of things now. The set here, they feel firm too. I'm going to get one of these that's a cinnamon one. Let's try and break one of these cinnamon ones off here. And I'm going to get one of these Old Bay ones here off. We'll taste test those. Well, I guess I should taste test them all, but Lord willing, not fall into the temptation of eating them all tonight. And I'll get one of the ones that has the no salt seasoning too. So a lot of taste testing to do. I'll put the no salt one here next to the Old Bay one and the plain one on the end. So let's do a taste test. Alright, so time to do some taste testing of several breadsticks, and thank God for these. We'll start with the cinnamon one. Then we'll try, before I get into the spicier flavor, sorry, got a little bit in my throat, into the spicier flavors, let me do the plain one. Okay, I know the Old Bay is going to be spiciest of all, so I'm going to do the no salt season one. Good. Now the Old Bay. They're all very good. I mean, of course, the one that's plain isn't necessarily as good as the ones that are seasoned, but all the seasoned ones are very good. So I don't think you can go wrong with any seasoning you want to use, or if you want to use some other type of topping. Whatever your choice is, it's all good. Turns out well. Make your own breadsticks yourself at home. All turns out real good. Have any time you want. You know what's in it because you made them. So I hope that you did like this video. Nothing in this video was sponsored. Nothing was given to me. In the video description there are lots of ways to help the channel, such as my cookbook, merch, membership, donations, link to the Amazon shop, link to buy me a coffee. You can always check out my blog, superwaveovenrecipes.com. Again, that's superwaveovenrecipes.com. Lots of good stuff there also. And so, with all of that said, if you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up, share the video with a friend, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel. hit that notification icon, and good eating.